that there was a mole in the Indian intelligence community that provided extremely crucial information for the attackers.
Who got classified Indian training manuals at the expertise of the Lashkar.
And perhaps other things which we don't know about, if this is true. And that a deal was made between the US intelligence agencies and David Headley in suppressing certain important elements of the investigation in their obsession with nailing Osama bin Laden, which allowed Headley to make that deal.
How has none of this come out earlier is just the question, Casey, which comes to my mind. You know, this Adrian's book also refers to, you know, there's a suggestion.
If I might just complete this. These are the facts. Now, I don't think there's the right way to go. I mean, we know what the political parties will do. They will end up by hurling mud at each other, and nothing substantive is going to come out of that in terms of
point is taken.
In terms of real action, security-wise or intelligence gathering-wise. So if you accept the fact that the book has been written by two professional investigative journalists who have no background of an anti-Indian bias or you know, some kind of thing like that, in that case, it bears investigation, and that investigation has to be internal. If you have a mole, if there is talk in...
by the way, let me say this. You know, a book that was written last year, The Meadow, about the kidnapping of 6 Western tourists in Kashmir by the same authors in 1995 by terrorists demanded. It said that Indian authorities, this dealt with the kidnapping of 6 Western tourists in Kashmir in 1995. Demanding the release of Maulana Masood Azhar. The claim was that Indian authorities, despite identifying the exact location of the hostages, chose not to act to prolong the negative publicity against Pakistan. So there is a backdrop to this. And therefore, I am asking today, Casey Singh, that Adrian Levy is with us today. He also mentions in this book about there's a reference to quote-unquote mice. It's a group of 16 Indians apparently in Mumbai who were recruited by the Lashkar-e-Toiba. It mentioned, Adrian?
You're making yourself look foolish.
No, Adrian, yes, you were saying something, go ahead.
Stop talking for a second. Stop talking for a second. What you're trying to do here is cast a very sensible debate. I've agreed with everything that Mr. Mukherjee has said. A very sensible, serious response. And what you're trying to do is smear it with animus by saying there's some kind of agenda. The book I wrote before The Meadow with Cathy Scott Clark was, if you remember, because it was covered widely on Times Now, the expose of how America facilitated Pakistan's nuclear program. It was called Deception. It was a bestseller in India for a reason, because it documented for the first time how the Abdul Qadir Khan network worked and how America facilitated that network to shore up its security bulwark in Pakistan. No, stop a sec. So the point here is that... No, stop a sec.
No, Mr. Levy, one second. One second. Mr. Levy.
There's no history of
Mr. Levy, with some respect. No, one second. 1 second, Mr. Levy, please.
No, 1 second.
Please allow me.
No animus.
You see, you must not. Don't get so touchy about it, first of all. No, 1 second. 1 second, Mr. Levy. Mr. Levy, don't get so touchy about it because you're not the only journalist who has studied and analysed 2611. Some of us have had some limited experience of handling this subject. No, you're not the only journalist who handles issues related to counter-terror. Mr. Levy, 1 minute. Mr. Levy, 1 minute, please. You know, first of all, I am only asking a few questions, and if you are going to be touchy about it, it won't be appropriate. Stay, please, calm. In this book, there is this whole reference to a group of mice, a group of 16 Indians in Mumbai who were recruited by the Lashkar-e-Toiba. It is also mentioned that they procured SIM cards and handsets and acted as information gatherers. Now, I'm only asking this, why don't we know more about them? Who are these mice? If there are 16 of them, surely we would have known more about them. Did Headley mention anything about any of them? I have the references to the mice. Did Headley make any such references? These are some questions which will naturally follow. I don't think it's unexpected. Anyone will ask these questions. And I'm putting that question to Casey Singh. I'm going to come back to this debate. Don't look at this as a smear campaign. You've written a book. It's in the public domain. And I think you should honestly expect it to be debated and discussed. Mr. Levy. Yes, Mr. Casey Singh.
Mr. Levy, first of all, let me say your book, Deception, we all enjoyed reading it. It's a very good book. But much of what is in the public domain about your recent book is not something which surprises us, because much of that has been conjectured or known so far. Because it became clear after David Headley was apprehended and the way he's been treated by the Americans, limiting the access of Indian agencies, wanting to interrogate him, giving him a plea bargain, it was quite clear that the early warnings that India got, and it was known in India for some time that some early warnings were given by US because they were running David Headley in the hope that he'll be able to penetrate the organization further. But what they did not realize is that he had been won over by the other side, and CIA has seen this happen again with the Jordanian agent, who was a double or triple agent who blew up 5 or 6 CIA operatives in Afghanistan. So this thing of an agent who gets won over by the other side, particularly because he believes in that faith, is something which Americans, I think, found blowing up in their face. So they had given us a warning, but they did not want to give more specific details because that would have burnt their source. But when they realized, ultimately, Headley was not caught because of India. He was caught when he came close to Al-Qaeda and he was going to operate in Denmark.
But was there a reference to any local Indian involvement in what Headley told the federal Chicago courtroom in March or May 2011? I don't think there was.
I have no idea. It has not come so far. But Arnab, please remember that Major Iqbal is the liaison between ISI and the terrorist groups. Now, someone at that level will not be told. A central element in any intelligence agency is the ones who gather the information, separate it from the source. No one that low who's operating in the field will be given the source of information out of India. This is just cock and bull created by him, unless he was using other elements. In Bombay, traditionally, the Dawood Ibrahim group and their operatives have been used from 1993. So they don't need anyone else. Now, of course, we are aware of Indian Mujahideen having come up. But I think if anyone
So you're saying this Honeybee reference has really no basis?
And one of the elements which Honeybee is supposed to have told them is the landing spot. Now, landing spot by someone in Delhi would not be known in Bombay. It has to be a Bombay operative. And that would be known to Dawood Ibrahim's cohorts there. They still have cells there. They have cells in even the police. It's well known that Dawood Ibrahim's gang maintains its contacts in the political and in the security system in India.
Are we shooting in the dark there? Or is Major, this Major Iqbal shooting in the dark? Or
Major Iqbal...
Who's shooting in the dark here? Because I'm focusing on this Honeybee angle, Maruf.
We're shooting in the dark.
Is it possible it's just a tall claim, Maruf?
No, let me...
No, watch. I just want to go to Maruf back and come back.
Let me just answer this. You see, Major Iqbal, when he is telling these operatives to go there, he would also give them all kinds of cock and bull to ensure that they know that he's got assets in that country. Secondly, the assets that he would be operating would be the Dawood Ibrahim related assets. And those would all be in Bombay. Now, those have not surfaced.
So it cannot be believed.
None of those have surfaced in the inquiry. It is true that this is an angle which should be re-examined because the government at that stage was facing an election. Was facing an election within months. So there was an attempt to say that there are no local links.
Precisely. Maruf wanted to come back. Yes, Maruf.
Arnab, there are 3 points I wish to make. One is further to what Mr. K.C. Singh has said. There is a very thin line between what is passed on and what is conveyed eventually to the ground operators, such as the group of 10 that came into Mumbai. So as Mr. K.C. Singh is saying, that sometimes facts are convoluted, sometimes they're inflated to give a picture that, we are in complete know of the situation. But I think the more important issue is honeybee or no honeybee. The fact is that all the operatives that came to Mumbai were trained, armed, equipped, and completely guided till the very end from Pakistan. So the role of Pakistan is a much bigger one on 26/11 than that odd honeybee who was operating, even if he was. The first point. Second point is, you mentioned yourself, Arnab, that there were 16 M's who the authors have referred to. Now, please remember the Karachi project that was created from 2002, 2003 onwards, and the Mumbai attack took place 5 years later. The Karachi project's purpose was twofold. One was to provide constant source of facilitators for any operatives that would come in from Pakistan, and more importantly, to shift the blame that these are internal actions taken by Muslim groups within India and Pakistan has nothing to do with it. It's an internal problem. And the third point I wish to make out is that if the author is confident about the sources of his information in the interest of India, and he's currently on Indian soil, it would do us all good and it would do his reputation good, at least confidentially, to expose some of the information to the intelligence agencies. Otherwise, his work, and the author is rightly sensitive about the fact that he's put across very accurate information. I'm assuming he has a track record of great research, but let somebody benefit from the research and let us then get to the bottom of it. Otherwise, this is going to be whistling in the dark.
Adrian, would you like to, would you see substance in his argument in what Maruf says there?
I couldn't hear the end of it, but I'd say, broadly speaking, your guests and I probably share exactly the same opinions over all of this. I've agreed with virtually everything that's been said. I think that, you know, the first and most important thing that journalists want to blow all out of shape in order to get some fire beneath this is that this was a Lashkar-e-Toiba attack. Let's just get it absolutely right. This was an attack launched against India by Lashkar-e-Toiba, and it has various facets to it which make it particularly significant. Those facets included the fact that they were remotely controlled, the Fedayeen squad, using a cheap VoIP Skype-like network, the fact that they used technology against ours and against India, manipulating cable TV in their remote control room, and the fact that they cased the city using this hybrid Headley, who was neither American nor Pakistani, and that allowed him to operate so freely. But actually, you know, let's get back to basics. You know, you can pull out these lines about failings, and, you know, there were failings. We failed on 7/7. There were failings in 9/11. But actually, this book is about an attack launched against India by Lashkar-e-Toiba, sponsored by elements of the Pakistan Security Service. It's in there with huge amounts of new evidence showing how that was put together. We got to all the families of the Fedayeen squad, and we explain where they came from, how they were trained, what the families were told afterwards. So, you know, don't get the book bent out of shape by trying to present it as some kind of anti-Indian fusillade, which it absolutely isn't. It is a testament to the heroes of Mumbai, the people who survived it, and an explanation of the genesis of the operation. And that's what good journalists should be doing, seizing the story,
Adrian,
and getting the facts to come out.
Adrian, you see, when it's been quite a few years now, Adrian, it's been 5 years since 26/11, and this is not the first book on it. A lot has been researched, studied, analyzed, and detailed. And therefore, I think, you know, when you're saying somebody's trying to bend something out of shape, I think you're completely wrong with respect to you. I think instead of, we are only interested in looking at what is new. As a journalist, when we look at the content of a particular book, we look at what is new. You do not expect us to be discussing on the news hour something which is a known fact. And therefore, we are looking at what is new, especially from the Indian perspective. That's the only intention. They're not trying to bend your book out of shape. Ashok Karnik, former Deputy Director of the IB, has been raising his hand there for some time. Yes, Mr. Karnik.
Yes, I will say one thing, that to be on the safe side, or the general intelligence practice is that any new information we come across is investigated. So if Mr. Levy has made certain claims that there was a honeybee in Delhi and maybe 16 mice in Mumbai, perhaps this would have been inquired into already. But in case it is not, then it would be wise and it would be done naturally by any intelligence agent to check back on this information, whether it is true or false, without jumping to a conclusion that there is a deep-rooted spy in Delhi, or there are tremendous number of elite agents in Mumbai. But we have to verify the information that we come across to any source. So Mr. Levy's revelation is one such source, and it should be investigated.
Certainly.
If it has not already been investigated.
Certainly it should, but one of the supreme ironies of this whole case, and I'd like to wrap up by asking Shiv Shankar Mukherjee, is that, you know, every year we talk about 26/11. It's almost as if we goad, we encourage, we cajole our government every year to remember its promise to the people of this country on pushing Pakistan. What happens to that, Mr. Mukherjee? Does it only have commemorative value right now, this date for the government?
Well, it's almost become like that. It's almost become a kind of ritual, hand-wringing on the anniversary of 26/11.
Unfortunately.
Without any real action being taken to inflict what I call the pain of punishment, which is, as everyone should know if they don't, the only way to deter Pakistan from its unending hostility towards India. And I don't make any distinctions between the ISI and the army and their relationships and so on. As far as I'm concerned, the Pakistani elite together has that one-point agenda of creating trouble for India. Now, To wrap it up, from my end at least, if you can give me a minute.
Yes.
You said you were going to focus on the honeybee aspect of it, but I think you do focus on two other things at least, which is the CIA, the claim that the CIA passed on information and that it wasn't acted upon, which would be a very, very serious charge. And the question of the mole inside the embedded. All need to be, I agree with, on this point I agree with Mr. Suresh Karnik, that they need investigation and they need an internal investigation out of the public domain. And that I know is anathema to your soul, but as Abhay said, it would be wonderful for every citizen to know everything, but that would be accompanied by a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, in the first, you have to understand, many actionable, you know, there's been so much talk about actionable reports. Many such security warnings are phrased like this. Our own sources reveal that there will be an attack on a major city in India in the next 6 months.
We are experts at not doing anything on actionable intelligence. Running short of time. Very quickly, Casey.
On the mole.
Well, very quickly, because I want to, before wrapping up, I want to give him over.
Yeah, yes. Two things very quickly. 2611, they said, was not a failure of intelligence.
Yeah.
It was a failure of imagination.
I agree.
So very often information is very general, but you have to then link it up. Yeah. They said there'll be an attack through the coast, on the hotels. You put up a guard for some days, and then second thing, we are now preparing for the past attack. See, whatever NSG has done or other people are doing, the terrorists are not going to repeat that. Prepare for the next attack. That requires entirely different level of coordination between agencies, and we've seen what happened in Patna. We've seen what kind of state center, inter-party rivalries, and so on and so forth. This is a national task, and I think it needs cooperation amongst all.
I completely agree with you. Well, to everyone for joining me, thank you very much indeed. Adrian, for that book, congratulations. I'm totally short of time. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. That book is called The Siege. Controversial, but I guess interesting, worth a read. Thank you very much for joining me.